Hey guys, Marianne Elliott from 360 Mortgage Solutions. So today I wanted to jump on and show or share with you a little bit about equity. So I often have clients who will come to me and say, I have heaps of equity in my property and I want to use that equity as leverage to purchase my next property. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that if that's your plan to grow your portfolio. However, there's some things that you need to know when you're calculating how much equity you have versus how much available equity you have. Now, the reason I make a distinction between the two is because the equity in your property is easily worked out by estimating the value of your home in the current market minus the loan amount that you currently have. So if you have a property worth $500,000 and you have a loan of $300,000 against it, then you technically have equity in there of $200,000. Now, the reason that's not all usable equity is because a portion of that equity is already being used against the current property. Now, I know that's probably really confusing, but basically, properties are allowed to lend up to 80% without costing any lender's mortgage insurance. And so when I say properties, I should point out I'm also talking about your normal residential properties, so not commercial properties. So if we lend up to 80%, that means against that property that's worth $500,000, the maximum we can lend is $400,000 because that's 80% of the value. Given that we've already got a loan of $300,000 against it, that means the usable equity in that property is actually $100,000, not $200,000. So I hope all of that makes sense, but that is really important and crucial to know if you are wanting to use equity to get into the next property. There are also various ways that you can use that equity. So you could either borrow a larger amount and cross-collateralize both properties together. And I'm sure I've done a video on cross-collateralizing before, but I'll do an updated one because there are things to note when you do that. Or you can do what we call a cash out against the current property for that extra $100,000 and then use that cash towards the next purchase when you borrow 80% against the new property. So anyone that comes to me and talks about wanting to get their subsequent property, the very first thing I do is what we call a property report. So the property report is from CoreLogic and it takes into account recent sales in the area and based on those recent sales, what it would estimate your property to be worth. That is our starting ground. Once I have that, we then talk about valuations and whether it's worth getting an upfront valuation on your property prior to doing an application. And then once we have the valuation, we know how much equity, usable equity, there is in your property, and that's when we can talk about structure. So if this is something that you're looking to do, or if you just want a free property report to see how much is my property estimated to be worth right now, drop me a line. I'm absolutely more than happy to send you a free property report. And then if you have any questions off that, you can let me know. So otherwise, guys, that's it for me today. I hope you're having a fantastic day and I'll catch you next time.